The money in your pocket is constantly lying to you, and the Indian rupee isn't just dying of natural causes, it is actively being murdered by a system that was rigged 70 years ago. We are told that India is the fastest growing major economy in the world. We see our GDP overtaking the United Kingdom, and we see Made in India labels on iPhones. Yet every single time you look at the exchange rate, the value of the rupee seems to be falling against the US dollar, making your foreign education, your petrol, and your electronics more expensive every single year. But why is that? Why does a country with such a powerful economy still have a currency that struggles to stand up? Is it a conspiracy by the West? Is the Indian economy actually weaker than we think? Or is there a silent war being fought in the shadows of the global financial market that 99% of people simply do not understand? To find the answer to this question, we have to peel back the layers of the global casino we call foreign exchange. But before we dive into this economic thriller, I request all of you to subscribe to the channel because it takes a lot of research, time, and financial costs to simplify these complex geopolitical webs, and subscribing to you is the biggest motivation for us. This story begins not in a bank, but in a simple vegetable market in Mumbai, because if you understand the price of onions, you understand the price of the dollar. Imagine you are in a market where everyone wants to buy onions, but there is only one truck full of them. The shopkeeper will obviously increase the price because the demand is high and the supply is low. And this is exactly what happens with your currency. When India needs to buy oil from Saudi Arabia or fighter jets from France, we cannot pay them in rupees because the rupee is not accepted everywhere. So we have to pay them in the king of currencies, the US dollar. This means India is like a thirsty traveler who constantly needs water, and that water is the dollar. Every time we import crude oil, electronics, or gold, we have to sell our rupees to buy dollars. And when you sell something in huge quantities, its value drops. This is the basic rule of the game. But here is where the story gets scary. You might think that if India exports more, the rupee will become stronger. And that is true, but there is a villain in this story that no one talks about, and that villain is the safe haven status of the US dollar. See, the global economy runs on fear. When there is a war in Ukraine or a crisis in the Middle East, rich investors in New York and London get scared, and they don't want to keep their money in developing markets like India or Brazil because they think it's risky. So, even if India is doing everything right, these investors sell their Indian stocks, convert their rupees back into dollars, and take their money back to the United States. This sudden selling crashes the rupee, meaning that a war happening 5,000 kilometers away can destroy the value of the money in your bank account overnight. This happened recently when the US Federal Reserve, which is their central bank, increased their interest rates. Suddenly, keeping money in an American bank became more profitable than investing in an Indian factory. So, billions of dollars flew out of India, leaving the rupee bleeding. It's almost like the US exports its own inflation to the rest of the world. They fixed their economy by breaking everyone else's. But does that mean India is helpless? Absolutely not. This is where the Reserve Bank of India, or the RBI, enters the story like a silent guardian. The RBI knows that if the rupee crashes too much, petrol will cost 200 rupees a liter and the common man will be crushed. So they maintain a massive war chest of foreign exchange reserves, which is currently over $600 billion. Think of this as a dam. When the rupee starts falling too fast, the RBI opens the gates of this dam and floods the market with dollars to satisfy the demand and stabilize the price. They're fighting a daily battle to keep your currency afloat against global chaos. But the game is changing, and we are now seeing the beginning of a revolution where countries like India are trying to bypass the dollar entirely by paying for oil in rupees and pushing UPI globally. This leads us to the most important question of our time. Do you think the dominance of the US dollar is finally coming to an end, or will it remain the king for another century? The world is changing, and your money is changing with it. Let me know your prediction in the comments below, and see you in the next video with another interesting topic.